Interesting. President of the Nigeria Football Federation, Ibrahim Gusau, really telling us what is in the offing as far as Nigerian football is concerned. Now, the Paris 2024 Olympics and Paralympic Games may have come and gone, but the investigative committee established by the Honorable Minister of Sport, John Eno, held its first hearing in Abuja. The session took place at the Media Center of the MKO Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. The minister, alongside the permanent secretary of the ministry, were present at the event. The ministry is auditing Team Nigeria's outing and performance at the Games in France. Correspondent Jane Francis Nweze tells us more in this report.
The Federal Ministry of Sports Development on Tuesday held a meeting with the Nigeria Olympics and Paralympics Committee, the 12 sporting federations that participated in the Paris Games, and members of the Ministerial Performance Committee to audit and review the financial support provided, as well as the sports training facilities and the effectiveness of pre-training camps. The meeting further evaluated the outcome of the Olympics and Paralympics and the long-term projection for sports development.
Paralympics did not have delay of funds. We start our preparation early. We attend qualifying, which make us to be in Paris, which the sport ministry have been supporting the Paralympic athletes. I would say, first and foremost, it's a very good development that we were able to have this meeting. I can tell you it was a no-holds bar, and the Honourable Minister was very blunt, told everybody to feel free. If we are not able to identify the problems properly, then the issue of proffering solutions is almost non-existent.
In a statement released by the Sports Ministry, the minister reaffirmed the ministry's commitment to take measures to avoid such occurrence in the nation's sports history.
I think it's a matter of budgeting. When I say budgeting, you need to be able to try to prepare very well in advance. Every year, for instance, leading to 2028, from next year, 2025, we need to be very deliberate in training. We need to be deliberate in the preparations and identifications of our athletes.
Government can never fund sports alone. No matter how much they put in, the private sector must come in, which is why I'm very happy with the national sports industry policy that tends to create an enabling environment for sports to be like business, and it's a good development that we're able to have this kind of review.
Following the outcome of the meeting on Wednesday, the Minister of Sports Development inaugurated a 7-member committee to carry out a wholesome investigation on the country's sport performance at the just concluded 2024 Paris Olympic and Paralympic Games. The committee members, drawn from the 6 geopolitical zones of the nation and chaired by Mumuni Alao, will investigate various negative events and exposures to the country during the Games. Jane Francis Nweze, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, the Minister of Sports auditing Nigeria's performance at the Olympics. Someone said he himself should be audited. Anyways, I've got guests on the show today. Ladies first, anyways. Izzy Eze, she's the data and technology expert for OMD Nigeria. Yes. Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you
Promise
very much. Glad to be here.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Associate Director, OMD Nigeria. Well, I understand that you guys meticulously, I've known you a long time, and I know you don't play sports. But I understand you guys have meticulously, gone through the Olympics in France, did some data analytics about what happened in France and Team Nigeria and all of that. But before I go into those details, were you impressed with Team Nigeria's performance at the Games?
I don't think I'm not impressed. For some of us, it looked like we just wasted our money. Yeah, so that money could have been used for something,
billions of naira.
Yeah, much better than just wasting billions. Sending people to France, and they came back with absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Nothing to show. To whom much is given, much is expected. We were expecting the ladies to do us proud. To Mousson, Estée Brume. We were routing for the women. What happened?
I believe that a lot of factors were involved. We looked for a lot. We looked towards, based on their even previous performance, we expected a lot. And I believe that they can do better next time. Okay. So let's just look forward to better things to come. They've made us proud before, and they can do it again.
All right. Well, let's go into the business of the day, I promise. Let me start with you. You're my namesake. Does sports still really hold as much influence on the Nigerian consumer? You are into media buying and all of that. Does sport really hold the Nigerian consumer?
Yes, I would say yes, because if you look at the report that we presented after the survey that was conducted, you discover that football, basketball, and of course athletics. These are the three major sports that Nigerians are very passionate about. So, and then secondly is the fact that sports seems to be like a melting pot. So Nigerians are going through a lot of contradictions. So, but when it comes to sports, you see that unity, you see that convergence, you see passion. People forget about their tribes and their differences. So I think sports still unites. If you look at the level of betting, the report that we have here is showing about 61% of sports lovers are ready to bet. And of course, they have data on their phone. Some of them are ready to pay between 3,000 to 6,000 to buy data, especially during the Olympics. So you can see that sports is one thing that Nigerians will ever be ready to associate themselves with. And then it has a way of also relieving them of stress.
That's true.
Exactly. And so for me, I think that yes, sports is still a very strong content for that Nigerians want to.
Isn't it what drove the need to go? to investigate and create all this data and analysis about the Olympics in France.
Okay, Mediarity OMD is a thought leader in the marketing communication industry in Nigeria. We're a thought leader. We are the #1 media agents in Nigeria, and one of the things that we do is to deliver value. Value is our #1 proposition to our clients, and as a thought leader, you don't wait to do anything, you change the game. Basically, you control what happens within the game. So even though a lot of Nigerian brands did not invest a lot in the Olympics, we want to let them know that there's opportunity here, the eyeballs are here, and that's one of the things that we looked at to conduct such a research.
Absolutely. And I promise, what lessons can Nigerian brands learn from the past Olympic marketing campaigns?
So if you look at the past Olympics, okay, so in terms of awareness and in terms of willingness to watch, it was just about 85%. Okay, the Olympics in 2020. But if you look at the recent Olympics in France, it's got about 95% of Nigerians going by the reports, were willing to watch. So you can see incremental in terms of interest, in terms of willingness. So brands should begin to tap into those, consumer sentiments. If 95% are ready and willing to watch, that's a window, that's an opportunity for brands. The report is more or less, throwing up a revelation, an insight how Nigerians interacted with the Olympics and what that also looks like, in the future. If you're talking about the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028. So this gives you an insight into what to expect in 2028.
That's it on the screen ahead of the games in Los Angeles. 67% of respondents are willing to watch and follow the event.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So that's a huge number.
Absolutely. So how can Nigerian brands now effectively align their marketing strategies with the value that the games bring?
Okay, so from the report and the research that we did, we see that 72% of Nigerians are willing to follow the games. Another thing that we also saw from the report and the research that we did, like Promise rightly said, over 61% of Nigerians are willing to bet. So there are huge opportunities for here. You just talked about the women, Toby Amuson, for example. Imagine the kind of aura that she brought in the Commonwealth Games. Imagine if she brought that in the Olympics and she's associated with a brand. Even in my mind, I was willing to watch the Olympics because Toby Amuson. Yes, true. I was. Right? So you see this opportunity. And imagine if as a brand, I am associated with Tobi Amusan. The mental recall, you know, the association already. When people are looking at her, they are thinking of my brand. So these are strategies that brands should begin to adapt, you know, to drive association in sports for the forthcoming Olympics.
That's true, and that's I mean, brings us to the role that the athletes themselves play in all of this.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at the report, it also shows that 85% of you know, the respondents are willing to be part of a brand activation. You know, imagine a situation where you have a greet and meet among these athletes. You know, so the respondents are saying they would like to be part of that kind of, you know, yes, that kind of, you know, integration, that kind of activation. And about 94% of them are saying they want more brands to be part of the Olympics, you know, in 2028. So that's already like a window calling to, you know, to be exploited. So we're actually supposed to be selling this information, you know, for those who are watching, because this is like preparing you and telling you that, look, if you are thinking of investing in 2028 Olympics, you're actually thinking in the right direction, because data is showing that it is actually, you know, a good platform to invest your advertising expenditure in 2028.
Absolutely. And in what ways will the digital platforms and social media really harness or create that interactiveness in the build-up to the Olympics?
Okay, so from the survey that we did, we saw that 44%, that is 4 out of every 10 Nigerians, are willing to stream for free online. Another thing that
Nigerians like free things, though.
Of course, I mean, we're Nigerians, you know. So, and then another thing that we saw that was very interesting was that a lot of people followed on their mobile phones. So these are opportunities that we can, social media is a growing world on its own. It's becoming something, a lot of brands are beginning to tap into it. So these are opportunities that brands, you know, another thing I was even thinking about was, you know, telecommunications industry developing a subsidized package, especially for the Olympics, to help people, you know, like you said, Nigerians like free things. So imagine subsidized packages just to follow the Olympics. That's a huge opportunity for brands to tap into. And
beyond the 44% that are streaming, you know, free of charge, I mean, the report revealed that 39% are ready to pay, you know, to stream online, which is quite interesting. So whether you're looking at those who are just, you know, looking for free, or those that want to pay, you have an opportunity on both.
There's a market for all.
There's a market, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Okay, I promise. Let me come to you. Tell us more about the consumers connection panel used for this survey.
As far as we are concerned,
the methodologies and how it was carried out.
As far as we are concerned, is the comparative advantage that we have in the market today, because you know, the average consumer in Nigeria is very complex, and going by the barrage of the contradictions that he or she is going through, you need to consistently, you know, study this ever-changing consumer. And so what the OCI or CCP does for us is that it helps us to unearth all of these insights. So if you look at the methodology, we have methodology rides on mobile, and then, of course, mobile web. All right, so it's very easy to contact these respondents. And then if you're looking at, you know, the sample size, we looked at it from 4 countries because it wasn't only done in Nigeria. This survey was also, you know, implemented in Ghana, in Kenya, in Tanzania, and
across Africa.
Yes, across Africa, exactly. But right now we're focusing on Nigeria. So we had about 2,261, you know, in terms of sample size. But we took 668 for Nigeria. You might probably look at 668 and say, oh, this looks small. But if you go by EXOMA standard, you know, you will discover that, and then if you look at, you know, the fact that we're looking at qualitative sample size, that will give us, you know, what we actually want, you know, the confidence level that we want to see, even though we factor in 5% error margin. You'll be coming down to about 300 and 350 in terms of the optimal sample size for this survey. However, we boosted it by another 300 or so to about 668, even though we had to spend more. So that is the methodology, the coverage. And if you come to Nigeria, I mean, the coverage, it covers about over 7 markets. We are also looking at increasing number of markets as we go into 2025.
Okay, isn't it in just 45 seconds, right? What advice do you have for brands who have scrapped their A&P budgets because of the current economic situation? We know things are not, you know. Okay, let me say by faith. as Christians, things are very good.
Okay, so we understand that economic and market volatility can shift consumer behavior, but it doesn't change the fact that consumers are still willing to purchase from brands that are willing to show empathy towards them. So one of the things we're telling brands is, even though we know that the economic downturn is making brands to cut down on their budgets, the consumer is ever changing and evolving.
That's true.
And we have the OMD consumer intelligence to help you unearth, golden opportunities within these consumers, the right way to advertise to them, because the truth is, it is the brands that are top of mind that I will go to first.
That's true.
So, and that is why we're telling brands that instead of just cutting down or stop to advertise.
Talk to the experts.
Exactly. Let us unearth. Speak to the right consumer.
Let's tell you what to do.
Thank you. That's what we're trying to say.
All right, let me say thank you to Ezinne Eze. She's an executive, data and technology OMD Nigeria. And Promise Odu. I've known this man for a long time. It's my namesake. I'm a very good friend. Yes. Associate Director OMD Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much
for coming
on the program
today.
today.
TVC Sport Desk.